enough to be asked to review an album ahead of its release, this time in Jasta for All, Jamey Jasta from Hatebreed's upcoming solo record. However, it is not really a solo record, it's a celebration, and the guests of honor are Chuck Billy from Testament, Scott Ian from Anthrax, Phil Demo from Violence, Steve Zetro Souza from Exodus, and the attendees are you. I'll give a quick rundown of each track, but the top level overview is this. By far, of Jamey's solo albums to date, 2011's self-titled debut, 17's The Lost Chapters, and 19's The Lost Chapters 2, without question, and Jasta for All is the meanest, fastest, and most violent. Now, note, that is not at all to say the three before it are in any way inferior, because those albums rule. Take any classic catalog you can think of. Yeah, Under the Influence is awesome, but it doesn't have Elimination. See You in Hell rules, but it doesn't have Lust for Freedom, that sort of thing. But pound for pound on the mean scale, this one's got the others beat. It'd be as if like Bon Jovi were gonna cover Bathtub Shitter. That'd be the meanest Bon Jovi would sound. It doesn't mean Slippery When Wet or New Jersey Sucks, but just that the Bathtub cover album would be the meanest. So on Jasta for All, there are three specific reasons why this is the case, and they're simple. Understand first though, because I think it's key to linking it all together. Lyrically, the overall theme of this record seems to be one of warning and urgency. Urgency to take notice of how we all might be getting fucked with, bad by a select group of psychopaths on top. So how that manifests musically? 1. Many of the songs are very thrashy and very fast with lots of D-beat and fast hardcore rhythms along with these saw blade guitars and solos. So you could maybe say it's pretty crossovery, but honestly lots of the BPMs are way quicker. 2. And imagine this, there aren't even that many breakdowns, and again that's probably due directly to the lyrics. It's as if to say the band's like, listen man, we don't have a whole lot of time to fuck around here because the opposition's closing in on us, so we gotta do this quickly. So with breakdowns, which are still there, just not as frequently as you might expect, but with those traded in for just chaos, it's the kind of war cry that instead of being real stoic looking, it's now just absolutely batshit, apeshit, psychotic, eat the whole adrenal gland out of their goddamn minds crazy and going straight for Skynet's throat. And finally, 3. Unlike several instances on the debut or chapters, and this one's controversial, so please hear me out first, the general absence of, quote, clean singing. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. If you are one of those metalheads that thinks clean ruins things, hey, that's a valid argument. I'm not knocking you for that. But if we're to be honest, and perhaps if you're new to Jamey's solo catalog, his clean vocals are not even remotely clean at all. They're the same style as like how Jorge Rosado sings on Find My Way, the Five Deadly Venoms album, Marauder, or even a little later on the God Is I album, the first song, Until. You're gonna tell me that kind of clean singing's the same as something emo? No fucking way, dude. That ain't clean singing at all. It's mean singing. But pretty much there's really not a lot of that on For All. But if you do want examples of what I'm talking about before, Parasitic and Back to What Matters from the first Lost Chapters, or the Buried Alive Black Sabbath cover at the end, which, is that ever an amazing cover? Holy fuck. Or Mourn the Illusion from the first album, or They Want Your Soul with Corpse Grinder from the Lost Chapters 2. There you go. So yeah man, again, while this album may aim to be an alarm of sorts, Jamey's still very much Tony Robbins like anything in his past. You can find hundreds of examples of truly inspirational stuff. And I always force myself to believe. Hollow Ground from Perseverance, Hatebreed. If that song is not Mickey appearing from beyond the grave in Rocky V telling him he didn't hear no bell, then I don't know what is. And there's plenty of that here. So okay, here's the track by track rundown. They See Us as Prey. It starts off with this kind of Metallica sounding One sort of thing. Very epic intro that'd be perfect to open up a show. And then bam, the floor opens up with this kind of beaten melody that might remind you of a faster, heavier, new school Death Magnetic type of Metallica. Armor Your Mind. Very fast, very violent sounding. It sounds a lot like Lowest of the Low, Terror. I can see the pit going crazy during this. Very motivational lyrics, like it's trying to convince somebody to get angry instead of being in despair, like Arnold said is more useful in T3. It's a great message where like the war of this century seems to be one that's way more psychological instead of physical. Chorus is just awesome with these gang vocals being a sort of sing-along type of thing. Create the New with Chuck Billy. It's a total total Hatebreed beat you know and love. It reminds me of something off Perseverance. Billy's vocals sound awesome and just like totally him. And there's lots of powerful, simple, inspirational one-liners in the song. Fucking A. RMPC with Scott Ian. It's the kind of beat where if somebody were to be like, Hatebreed, write a rockin' beat, or even kind of like rockin' Slayer-ish. It's like that. And Scott's vocals almost kind of sound like Jamey's himself when he's singing. Suicidality with Phil Demmel. It's an awesome like half DB thrash beat that switches seamlessly a few times into another one of these rockin' Hatebreed style beats. Back to DB, very awesome and groovy heavy. Lyrically, I think it exposes how dangerous many influential messages and lifestyle trends are, whose only real aim is to confuse and demoralize people. Very sad, but the song itself is extraordinarily strong. Assimilation Agenda with Zetro. I fucking love this song because I love Zetro. It's total him. And like, I love his voice because he sounds like a goblin, which I think is perfect for scary, hard type thrash like Exodus. This track could fit perfectly on Persona Non Grata, maybe even right after Prescribing Horror. But this is another example of just how awesomely groovy the album is without being what people call groove metal. So I don't know, groove thrash you might say. But it's a warning telling you to resist the snakes seemingly running this world whose only goal is to enslave you without even knowing you're a slave. But yeah, Zetro's lead and backing vocals just sound so awesome here. Like he sounds real goblin-y, like yeah. And then Jamey's like more thick sound around it. Ring of Truth. I think the ring is not like a thing but refers to a sound instead. It's kind of Slayery sounding where it would almost be like if Kerry King asked Jamey to help him write a song. Total ripper. Terminal Lucidity. Very Rise of Brutality Hatebreed. It's got a lot of that kind of punk beat right next to signature Hatebreed style mosh beats. Duck and cover if they play this one live. No Dream is Free. This is very Jamey and the kind of riffs and beats and melodies he lives for. It's a rare instance on the album with those clean sort of vocals, but only in the chorus, and an amazing guitar solo throughout. But yeah, No Dream is Free is reminding you that unless you're freely handed the dream, which in that case you're probably gonna be some kind of blackmailed slave, then if you want something, you gotta fucking work for it. And then the final track, The Phoenix Way. It's a sort of a spooky sounding intro, and it kind of reminds me a little of Jihad Slayer until it gets sludgy, about like the same BPM as Seasons in the Abyss, before getting right into that signature rockin' style Hatebreed. There's some kind of melodic, clean vocal parts that never linger. They just play their part and then they go back to business as usual. This is not at all in any way radio friendly, but I could see some rock stations that want to be a little adventurous or badass playing this song until Milo catches wind of it and he chews out Ian for putting it on. That's an Airheads reference. So yeah, dude, my final notes are that you don't have to be somebody who only likes or listens to, say, strictly tough guy hardcore like Death Threat, Agnostic, Full Blown, or early metalcore even like Overcast or Piecemeal or Hell Eternal Suffering or Disgorge if you're a death metal head. Because this album honestly should appeal to everybody with an open mind if you do come from one of those camps. And what's cool is it's very clear Jasta hasn't done this to like purposely appeal to several different types of people for the sake of streams or something. It's natural because he's shown us over the years that he genuinely loves like all the faces of metal. So fucking amen, there you go, I'm done. Big huge thanks to Size of the Worcester Palladium, to Censure Meven, to Katie from Suspiria Promos for letting me do this. And if you did like this video, cool man, maybe you can give it a thumbs up. Or if you just like hearing somebody bullshit about heavy metal, then fucking wall of death right into that subscribe button. And we'll see you next time on Concrete Spew, but until then, stay crazy, my friends.